All right, so let's see how long this takes. I see me. Good. All right, good. So, welcome, and we are here. And I don't know if I did live transcript now, whether it would actually do anything, but I'll try. So, we'll see. No, I don't see anything. All right, so it is Monday, December 27th at 8:46 p.m. Hi, how has the holidays been to us? Um, Basically, I wanted to get on for a few reasons. One, I'm seriously gonna try and make this announcement on all the channels I'm on. If you are a gamer and you are serious enough to be on Steam, you want to get there before the end of the year. They are seriously having a sale right now that is like the sale to end all sales. It is bona fide awesome. Like games there are going for pennies on the dollar. If you're not on Steam and you are a PC gamer, go for it. If you're a Mac gamer who like is heavy into Borderlands and wants to try Borderlands 2, it is legitimately dirt cheap, like $5. And like Divinity, the whole pack, the real good one, is really not expensive at all. It's under 20. And this is like, these are gaming packages, which are usually way pricier. And Elder Scrolls is also dirt cheap. So if you're anywhere near a gamer, my suggestion, get on there, get your gaming purchases in so you can install them either on your gaming rig or as need be when you want a game on your new purchases, but get in there. These prices will definitely not last. Um yeah, so I hope everyone had a great Christmas. Um Aside from that, I want to get on here also to make a call. Usually I like to make a call on like tech and what's coming up next and what's really gonna take off. Not like short run things like everyone can like, oh yeah, well, iPhone sales may shoot up. That's like little here and there. I'm talking long term where the market seems to be going and where it's gonna like twist into over the next like few years. And the last time I did this was about 10 or so years ago. It may be longer than 10. And I said within less than 10 years, computing devices were basically going to offset computers in as far as usage, meaning you'd be able to word process, do all the things you like do on a regular computer on a computing device. Now, computing devices are tablets, smartphones, phablets, things of that nature. And sure enough, here we are. So I want to make a few predictions. One, subscription based software per subscription is only going to increase, not decrease. So for those who are looking to go back to ways of old, where you go ahead and like, I mean, it sounds like what I'm saying is not that earth-shattering, but believe it or not, there are a lot of people still heavily invested in the idea that big box will somehow come back and you're going to buy Adobe straight off of the shelf. And because of the way it was always licensed, and because of the way software companies always wanted to retain ownership of their product after you paid your licensing fee, because that's what they considered it. They never considered it a bought product. because of the way that worked out, they were never gonna gun for that. And it took them a long time, but they were able to push people onto subscription-based services. And they are functional. It's a lot cheaper for most people, and you pay per month, just like any other sort of rental or service, and you get delivered what you want. Software, Adobe, 20, was it $20, 20 something dollars a month, get you unlimited access to all the Adobe titles. $14.95 a month. If you're lucky enough to get on the ground floor, get you access to Xbox Unlimited, or Ultimate, actually, Xbox Ultimate Game Pass, which gets you a lot. Steam hasn't gone this way completely, but there's no reason to expect, at least with some of their games, they might not. Because again, this is something that benefits them. They get their licensing fee per month, and they're able to, like, as a publisher, get you into those games, and then they're able to get you into those games under their terms, and they can also monetize more packages that way. Like if you want to buy enhancements rather than win them, like a lot of people like to put, and I'm not this type of gamer. I'm a hardcore, you have to be for the game or not. And that's a little rare these days, I know, but a lot of people are like, let me put $100 down, I'll get all the goodies right now. And if you're into that, that's great. But that's like something under the subscription model that's really, really doable. So subscription bases are here to stay. They're going to expand. I wouldn't be surprised if like at some point computers and computing devices, well, computing devices already do to some degree. They're not really subscription based in the sense that you do buy the hardware, but usually you buy it off a lease. So it's close enough. And I wouldn't be surprised if like medium range computers aimed at most households these days go along the same lines in the end to most people, because it makes sense. Most people don't have the like money to put straight out towards a modern, like middle of the road computer that would fit them. So they usually end up buying the bare basic model for really cheap. This will give them the opportunity to buy more than that without having to put the money up front. So I seriously see some movement on this. Of course, a lot of people will point to the fact we had similar movements in like the 80s and 90s, in the sense, I think there was a free PC company and then there was People PC, and I hear that and I agree, but I don't think the timing was right, nor was the placement. I think as things become more diverse and more enriched, in as far as the markets go for these devices, I think, you know, it's going to be much more palatable and people are going to use it, especially people who are like median income. And by median income, I do not by any means mean the old like neologism, the old like metaphor middle class, because middle class is more than just an income base. By median income, I mean people who basically fall in the middle of the road of today's income, which includes both professionals or paraprofessionals and families, who are raising children who need these devices for very obvious reasons. So I think it's gonna like come around because of the changing needs and the developing market as far as those things are concerned. Um, that being said, there's a new game in town. So we had computing devices like cell phones and tablets come of age, we've had computers. I am predicting over the next 5 to 10 years, we will see the same development that we did in the smart devices, but in robotics. I can see it now already. Entry models are starting to come out in the range of 1,000 to 2,000 that function as predecessors to what may be soon to come. And like all predecessors pale in comparison. We know this when we saw the BlackBerry. Early adopters were like, hoo, look at what I can do. And, look at it now. They can't do a damn thing. I mean, those devices are really, really watered down compared to today's smartphone, which is in everyone's pocket. And I see robotics going the same way. It's starting out at 1,000 the same way early smartphones like those Blackberries and those Palm Pilots took off. Yeah, they were a lot of money. And, a lot of people saw like, what can I do with that? But in all honesty, at the end of the day, when the market formed and people like push for free development, it ended up with Apple and Android, and they forged markets that today fueled technology in that sector. Freely so. People freely buy from them, and developers freely develop. And they have gotten to a level where if you put a smartphone next to, let's say, a laptop of 10 years ago or so, you would find they are very much the same in their capacity of what they can do and everything. So I see robotics much the same way. Now, am I saying robots are going to replace computers? No, but I think the computers have taken a much more social role in the past, which I think those social roles are basically phased out or phasing out as of now, and I don't see them coming back. That isn't to say that social media won't be a thing. I just don't take it to be the thing it has been, like under the baby boomers and early adopters of Gen X and the silent generation who fueled MySpace and Facebook. I don't see that same world going on. And one indication of this is exactly why Facebook changed to Meta. The virtual universe is becoming much more of the thing. And as we go forward, it's going to be virtual universes, virtual worlds, which are going to take up the social landscape, which means you're going to see a lot less desktops and laptops and a lot more Oculus devices in use. And as technology permits, those Oculus devices will be made independent. Here go what I'm saying. Early adoption robots right now really can't do much at $1,000 or $2,000, which may make them seem like, again, useless to the masses who view them as a niche market, such as Palm and BlackBerry were viewed early on. But again, they're not well developed, and they're only being entered into the mass market. Here's my prediction. We are going to start seeing introduced more and more into the mass market over the next 10 years or so, maybe even less, 5 years, depending on how fast they can get them out there. During this time, we're going to see the software refined. We're going to see the hardware refined. These first generation that are coming out now are very much attuned to their owners. They're able to do a number of small think tasks, including compile shopping lists. They can rove around. They're not that tall. They're only 3 feet, but they still have semi-functional hand devices, which can pick up some items, maybe a dish, maybe a like cup of coffee, which seriously, is amazing because it means you can have an actual robot make you a cup of coffee and pick it up. And they are all Alexa enabled. Welcome to the smart home. Alexa has literally become, I'm surrounded, a Fire tablet, Echo.
I don't have an answer for that.
See, a puck, like called a small speaker thing, and finally one show, which is generally what I call my little like Amazon alarm clock. And that's like what it is. It's like, you know, it's the future, and Amazon is not going to be the first or the last. They are the ones ahead of the game right now, and they are invested in it heavily. So the first generation of robots, I'm going to predict, will have a lot of the Amazon AI built into them. This is guaranteed. This is going to mean you're going to go, hey, and that A name we all know to love, and that robot is going to respond by ordering you something, by doing this. It may even be a combination of the Amazon software in the coffee pot and in the robot that allow you to get a cup of coffee made and brought to you. So this is literally going to be the humble beginnings of the Jetsons we are watching. And it's not going to stop. My prediction is the $1,000 or $2,000 now is going to be fueled by people of a certain income, a median income, who have families who would normally make these type of investments, even if they had to stretch a little to support that family. It's also going to be like upper middle class, wealthy, and very affluent, and they're going to invest. I predict that the mass marketing they will drive will end up putting the robots in common use by, I'd say, 5 or 6 years at most. We are going to see them as common as we saw Android phones. I hate when people do this when I'm live on YouTube.
Oh, I didn't know you were live.
Anyway, so in the next 5, maybe 6 years tops, I'm going to be like, I'm predicting like the robots are going to be as commonplace as like what Android phones once were when they began like popping up in masses. The price drop may not be as significant only because the hardware itself would be more expensive than the Android phones. Like Android phones only had,
yeah. It's okay, don't worry.
Android phones only had a price tag of about
There's
like
another one. Maybe I could buy another one.
How much you sell it for?
About 20, about the same.
Oh God.
I sold it for about the same price I sold it for, bought it for.
Yeah, now everyone on YouTube knows that.
Sorry.
Well, it's not my business.
Okay. Okay,
So-
don't talk. She's on YouTube.
Anyway,
Don't talk right now. Okay.
it's not a don't talk.
They can hear us on YouTube.
Yeah, if I can see if I can see your words in my captions, that means a microphone, which is directional. That means it only picks up voices directed at it, is picking up your voice. And no, it's not that sensitive.
Okay, that's good.
Anyway, so yeah, like I was saying, I don't think the robots themselves will come down in price as significant as the Android phones, only because of the significant difference in the investment in hardware. I mean, we're talking like Android phones were literally like being built for like 20 or 40 or $50 or less. I mean, that's not a significant investment in hardware. But the robots themselves, yeah, $500, $600 base hardware, or maybe like a little less, but not much. And it's going to be a few hundred for the base hardware alone. So when you add on software on top of that, it is still going to be somewhat pricey. But what I can see happening is as they're driven by the market, the $1,000 you invest now on a 3-foot robot with limited clamping will come up with something bigger, probably 4 or 5 foot, maybe the size of a small child, maybe a little taller, with realistic and substantial grip that allow it to complete tasks such as kneading dough or picking up packages from the front door or walking the dog, which takes far more like, so yeah, and I'm not sure if I see all this happening in 10 years, but I see a lot of it happening. And the reason I'm calling this now is I'm looking at the robots that are coming out right now that are being featured on Amazon and a number of places, and I'm all out thrilled by the display of technology that they're really being used for. And again, before I forget, if you're not on Steam and you're a gamer, get your butt over there. The sales they're having are legit mad. So what else was I going to say? I don't know. No, so right. I'll see how this like goes. Anyway, yeah, so I really see robots becoming a thing. Subscription-based services are going to become more a thing and expand their coverage. I think that's it right now for predictions. I probably could come across with a lot more things to put out there, but you know, I have to like time these videos, so I'm not on here for like an hour or so, which is something I'm notorious for. What else? I'll be damned if I remember anything else. Oh yeah, so and to put my why the one thing that made me think of subscription. So I was like hearing what everyone said about the Matrix and the new Matrix movie, Resurrections, I believe it is. And I was looking at theaters and I've noticed it's on HBO Max. And this was not the only time a movie's been released like that. The new Mortal Kombat movie that came out was on while it was in the theaters, it was on HBO Max. So it's legitimate, like subscription services are it. Even the movie theaters themselves, like AMC, are going for it. They have the subscription model. You can pay a monthly fee to walk into the theater and watch movies, whatever movies you want. So this is legit, not just a like run-of-the-mill thing anymore. And I truly believe it's gonna start picking up. The idea of paying a monthly fee for unlimited access to something, whether it be a gym in a mall or movies online or movie theater in the real world, or software that you use for work and personal stuff, is the future. It is substantially cheaper for bigger companies such as Adobe, AMC, HBO, and so forth to sustain as a model. They get to give us far cheaper prices because they really milk the per person thing long enough. They get way too much per capita when people walk into movie theaters or stuff like that. And that's been known for a while. And so the prescription makes sense. Because then they're supported on an ongoing basis. The programmers get paid and they develop the software on an ongoing basis, and it always gets updated and supported on and on. So there is no like you buy something and then a few years you get a few updates and then a few years later you got to buy it again. No, you're in the subscription, you always have access to it, and that makes sense. It saves a lot of money for everyone. So the and the HBO Max thing with getting in new movies that are in the theaters at the time is basically the one thing that like clicked it for me again and again. And when I was talking about it earlier, it's the one thing that really made it set in. So yeah. Other predictions, not so much. Agree with me, don't like, follow, subscribe, do what you want to. I don't care. This channel has gone from having like 7 to 15 to God knows how many subscribers and now to 2. If you don't want to see this content, you don't have to. But if you do, feel free to like, subscribe, and follow this channel. And I'll be back.